Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Ask AJ. Again, we've made it on a Wednesday, so this is a good moving forward positive aspect to Ask AJ this week. So today I'm going to talk to you about the importance of your Rightmove listings. So we all know that probably the first place the majority of buyers go to see what's out there on the market is Rightmove, great platform that the majority of us use, whether it's on your mobile, laptop or computer or whatever else. It is a key portal for most people out there looking to buy a house, but also as an agent or a seller for actually getting your house out there and showcased to the world. So it's really important that you make sure that all the aspects of your Rightmove listing are as good as they can be to basically entice more people to click on your house, look at more information, and then fingers crossed, call up the agent and book in that all important viewing. So there's a number of things that we've spoke about recently as a team and that we do on a regular basis, normally on a Monday by our lovely office team, Lois and Claire, to try and make sure that each listing that we have is the most up-to-date and attracting the most interest for each of the homes that we have on. So obviously as part of the Rightmove listing, you've got different sort of aspects to it. So whether it's photos or floor plans, even down to like number of bedrooms and obviously even the price of the house. I would say, and I think the majority of people would agree, that the top selling point, I suppose, is the photos of the house. As they say, a photo can tell 1,000 words. I think that's right, that's what they say. But the reason why more so your first image that you choose for the listing is most important is particularly mainly due to the majority of people searching and scrolling on their mobile device, on their phone. And all you really see, particularly on, I've checked it this morning on the Rightmove app, is that first image. So your main image is the only thing you see, and then the address and the price. So getting that first image right is really, really important. So, I mean, as a lot of people might see, for Ashdown Jones, we do more often than not our signature shot, which is our twilight images. So that's where we go out just after sunset, normally about sort of 10 minutes, get all the lights on, maybe put out some candles and all that kind of thing, and get a lovely twilight shot just after dusk. And we do that because it's very enticing, because that image looks quite different to a lot of other pictures that are on Rightmove. So if you've got a lot of people just scrolling through and then they see that, it sort of grabs your attention because it looks a bit different, it's intriguing, and then hopefully they'll click on that, and then that will lead them through to the full listing, and subsequently, hopefully, calling up to arrange a viewing. And there are stats on that we've done in the past, and by having a twilight shot as your main image, you can get up to about a 30% higher click-through rate than just a standard kind of external shot. So it is quite important that you pick the right one, but it doesn't always have to necessarily be, a twilight or an external shot. Basically, you just want to capture what is maybe seen as the key selling point for that particular house. So an example might be if you've got lake access or lake frontage, it might be nice to get an aerial shot that shows the proximity to the lake. So that straight away people can see that image and think, God, right, that house clearly has lake access, or it's really close to the lake, or got lake views or something like that. So you might want to capture it that way. Another aspect might be that you've got this fantastic sort of landscape garden, or it's really an equestrian style house. So you might choose the main image to try and entice those types of buyers. So that's really quite important. I mean, if you're on a laptop, I'm not sure about an iPad, I haven't checked it recently, but you do get 2 photographs. So more often than not, it'd be a good idea to make sure, obviously you choose the 2 most important elements. So you might want to do one showing the outside, and then one showing what would be, your most sort of wow factor room in the house, whether that be sort of your primary bedroom, or the views that you get out a window, or something like that. So definitely your first and second image are most important. We try and update those on a regular basis, depending on how long the property's been on Rightmove for. But more often than not, do get them changed. But again, always think about which ones you're choosing. And if you're not happy with your first image and you think there's maybe something that's better, talk to your agent about swapping it over to a different one. So that's probably the most obvious kind of thing that you can update on your Rightmove listing. So secondary to that, and you do get this part if you're on a laptop or a computer, and I think an iPad, is your summary text. So that's kind of like the first headline bit of text that you get that comes up on your listing. So again, a bit like the images, you want that to kind of capture the initial elements of the house. So, whether it's like a chocolate box, gorgeous little lakeland cottage, or whether it's got the lake access or lake views, or whether, it's a really good location or a great investment opportunity. You might want to sort of mention that in your summary text. So it's always wise to spend a bit of time sort of having a look at that summary text, and whether you think that's sort of, really enticing people in to then click through and read all the more sort of nitty gritty and finer details on the house. So changing that can also help, as that is something that sort of comes up amongst all the other homes that are showing on the Rightmove page as you kind of just done your initial search. So then that leads nicely through to kind of more of the full summary on the house. And more importantly than that, the finer details. So different agents obviously list homes slightly differently. If you've got any kind of key bullet points at the top, which is something Ashdown Jones tends to do, you want to make sure that those sort of first few bullet points are giving the key bits of information, but then also, the key selling points on the house. And again, there's something that you could update, on a regular basis or not so often, just depends on how you want to proceed forward with the sale. But, we've had one as an example recently. It was a second home, they weren't really using it much. They've now changed to make it used as a holiday let, and it's doing really well. So basically we changed the initial text and finer details to give more information on the holiday let potential of that house. And really as simple as that, you could just put great holiday let opportunity. If you've got kind of projected income figures, you could put that down. So anybody that's purely looking for an investment opportunity can see the key sort of information that they would be looking for. But secondary to that, it's important if you do something like that, that you correspond it with making sure the other elements of your listing are updated. From the full text, and you might want to then sort of go into more detail about why it's suitable as a holiday let, and maybe like it's got great storage for guests bringing canoes or outdoor equipment or anything like that, or it's close to great sort of walks and locations that potentially people coming on holiday are looking for, as opposed to people that are looking for a home. So it's just to make sure that you keep everything consistent. So that again is a really key element, and something that you can sort of rejig and change on a regular basis to make sure it's sort of leading to the most people then clicking through to actually call up to inquire about the house. And then the final one in that kind of aspect of the kind of marketing points of the house would be your floor plan. So there's not really a lot that you can change on the floor plan, but one point might be, for instance, it would be, say, the number of bedrooms. So we tend to find that, and obviously that's a key search criteria, or filter rather, is people searching for the number of bedrooms. So if you've got a particularly large house with lots and lots of bedrooms, it might be wise to have a rethink about that. And you could change, and we've done this quite a bit and it works quite well. You could change sort of one of the bedrooms into an office or a study or a snug, or you could word it as a dressing room or something like that, or walk-in wardrobe. And then change that on the floor plan, so maybe rather than 6 bedrooms, you've got 4 bedrooms. And then on the actual, the criteria of the house, which you see again when you're scrolling, is number of bedrooms, change from 6 to 4. And it's a lot more likely that your viewers out there, or potential buyers rather, are going to put in their search criteria, up to 750,000, 4 bedrooms, but it's unlikely that they might be searching for 6, 8, 10 bedrooms. Is less likely. But again, make sure they correlate, so number of bedrooms to your floor plan, and then obviously the text that you've got within your summary. So then after you've sort of maybe made all those changes, if you've unfortunately been on the market for a long time, the other elements you can change in Rightmove listing are obviously price. If you do change, I could do doing a fact check on this, but I think it's correct. If you change your price by at least 2.5%, you'd actually then be relisted as a new property on Rightmove, which means you can go out on their 7 days of Rightmove alerts, which go to people's direct email. So that obviously is a big impact, and again is part of the search criteria that people are looking for. So maybe if you've just gone over $1 million, if you're at say like 1.15 million, if you adjusted that down to under $1 million, there'll be a lot more people potentially searching between 500 1,000 and 1,000,000 as opposed to 1,000,000 to 1,500,000. So it's all just things to factor in, but that's really a last port of call to go down that route. So across all those different aspects and different elements of your Rightmove listing, it just proves how important it is to make those changes. And it does have a good impact. Literally the example I just gave there in regards to the one that is now running as a holiday let, we put those key elements on there and some more information about potential turnover figures. And now they've got a couple of viewings booked in for next week since we've made those changes. So always keep an eye on it, don't leave it to your agent, scroll through, or one option is to actually get your friends to have a look, or friends and family, get them just to have a look and see if they think it's worded right and what their thoughts are, or even someone completely neutral, get them to have a look, scroll through, see that first image, does that portray to them what your house is all about? So there's different ways of doing that. We plan on doing a bit of more research into this and the stats on each individual change that you can make. So keep an eye out for a future Ask AJ when hopefully we'll relay back to you the actual impact of those different changes. So, if you change the first image, what's the increase on clicks? If you change text, what's the increase on clicks? So that'll be quite interesting to do, and that's something that hopefully we'll do over the coming weeks once we've had enough time to actually build up the stats and information on that. So yeah, keep an eye out on your Rightmove listing, speak to your agent, or if you want more information on that, do give Ashdown Jones a call and the team will be happy to chat with you about how we can improve your Rightmove listing. And for now, enjoy the rest of your week and we will see you next Wednesday for the next Ask AJ.